While Bitcoin's architecture is incorruptible, its adoption is not automatic, right? Anyone who's ever tried to orange pill anyone else realizes that, it's not as easy as just winning with logic. The shift from just Bitcoin being accessible to Bitcoin being adopted, it requires way more than just this juxtaposition of TikTok next block production, and then the collapse of fiat, right? Both of those things are true, but it requires narrative dominance, literacy, usability, how to run a node, how to use a hardware wallet, and that trust infrastructure that Bitcoin meetups really play. And that has to be locally built, right, and globally disseminated. So I like to think of us at the Bitcoin meetup organizers as those builders, as those educators who make sovereignty of the individual accessible to anyone. We are really like the founders of that next generation in history. A future where human liberty is going to be challenged more than ever before. The fiat regime is not going to give up without a fight, right? We're getting CBDCs. They're here. We have massive fiscal stimulus. Systemic coercion is completely inevitable. And financial repression is already a huge issue worldwide. So all of these entrenched network effects, the convenience of just sitting back watching Netflix, those are our opponents, right? And unfortunately, they have a real shot at winning. This is a propaganda war to win the hearts and minds against an extremely formidable opponent. But the good news is we have economics on our side, right? Ethics is on our team, and proof of work is at our foundation. We will win or fail trying because the separation of money and state is worth it. So I that's kind of just like that's just our mission statement here at Jersey City Meetups. I really do think that it comes down to, just juxtaposing block production and fiat collapse. Like, it's not automatic. You really need us in the community out there building. And so I really implore everyone out there that if you haven't already started, if you haven't joined a local meetup, or you should absolutely start one and connect with us. We're really trying to create that network here in the States.
You got me fired up, dude. That was an awesome speech. Thank you. Really appreciate that. And it shows you the importance of what is actually going on here, right? Instead of just a group of people showing up once a month to talk about a financial asset that has number go up technology, what we're really doing here is creating the foundation, a social network for a parallel system, right? Because if this doomsday world that we see coming, probably with the CBDCs and government control and speech censorship, you're going to want to know people in real life who also use Bitcoin, right? Who will trade and transact, because that's the beautiful thing about Bitcoin is that you don't need to use the regular financial rails in order to have a medium of exchange that is immutable, right? So if you know other people who offer goods and services, then hey, you have a completely different network and hope for the world compared to somebody who is completely siloed into the regular financial system that says, no, you can't spend your money there. You can't do this with that. So connecting and creating that network of people in real life who have different diverse sets of skills is so important. So yeah, Harrison, I'd love to kick it over to you. And in terms of accelerating adoption and creating that foundational social network of Bitcoiners, what do you see and how do you feel it's gone so far in New York City?
Sure. So I think the number one lever to use to increase Bitcoin adoption is actually UX. If it's easy to use and it remains Bitcoin the way we want to see it remain Bitcoin, then that's what will spur adoption the most. Underneath UX is incentives. This is all open source technology. There are a ton of benefits to that, but one of the drawbacks is it's a lot more difficult for people working on it to profit on it. And so that means there's less incentive for them to build good UX just because they literally don't have the money to put their time into it. But then on the meetup side, another very important aspect of Bitcoin is, what is Bitcoin? How do we define it? We were talking a little bit about this at the Node workshop we hosted recently, which is like, if we all wake up tomorrow and the entire world decides Bitcoin is an asset controlled by like BlackRock, or it's a stable coin, and we just decide to call it Bitcoin, that is Bitcoin now. And then we would have to, it would be an uphill battle. We would have to decide, do we fight for that term? Do we change the term? And long term, the incentives are on our side in the fact that we have a fixed supply of money and, all the permissionless, censorship-resistant aspects of it. But those incentives don't make it inevitable. It just means those that work with it have the advantage, and we actually still have to, be in the arena and make sure that what we want to see Bitcoin be is what we all decide what Bitcoin is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Is if you have a newbie that shows up and says, "What is Bitcoin?" What is the paragraph that you tell them to try to sum it up quickly?
That's all you, GC.
Oh, man. You want me to take that one? Magic internet money.
There you go.
Boom. Don't even need a paragraph. No, Bitcoin is different things to different people, right? We think we know what it is, but part of the journey of going down the Bitcoin rabbit hole is realizing that no, you don't know what Bitcoin is. It's way bigger than all of us. And so in terms of like introducing new people, I actually made a printout. I don't know if I have it around, to hand out being like, hey, here's some scam awareness, but here's also the Bitcoin ethos. Like, stay humble, stack sats, don't sell, like TikTok next block, like all of the big like ethos things that I would want Bitcoiners to take away for new people that are joining the space. Because guess what? Bitcoin is getting so big now that, we're not going to be in control of the narrative. There's just going to be so many different, what is Bitcoin perspectives that different people take to the table. So in order to maintain that original cypherpunk culture, I think that's definitely something I like to instill in newcomers as well.
Memes, right? And that's what memes are. They're little mind viruses, and they spread very quickly. And if you can just have some quips for people to digest easily, then it makes it all the better for them to go home and then spread them to their friends and family. So hopefully at this point in the conversation, we have inspired some people to say, hey, I want to do this myself. But you can have the idea. It's a completely different thing to go out into the real world. And actually, you have to make yourself vulnerable, right? You have to say, hey, I'm going to plant this flag, and I hope to God or Satoshi or whatever higher power there is that other people will show up and share this moment with me, right? So that we can grow Bitcoin, the community, the network in real life. So let's start from the very basics. Say you've been motivated. I want to start a Bitcoin meetup. You need a venue, you need a time, you need communication methods. Let's take it from the bare minimum. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, we learned so much at Bitcoin Park. There are really good network and really good best practices, and we'll help anyone who's curious along their journey with whatever specific circumstance you have. But at the end of the day, there's two things. You show up, and you show up at the same time every month.
Thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you could drop a like and a share, it would help in our mission to accelerate adoption. If you're looking for more Bitcoin signal, join over 10,000 readers of our newsletter, Bitcoin News Weekly. Every Monday morning, we send out the biggest headlines of Bitcoin to keep you in the know in under 5 minutes. Links below in the description. Then come hang with us live every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. We break it all down live on stream with a new guest, and you can add your 2 sats in the chat. See you next week.